She's thinking about you right now. Her eyes might be glued to a screen, her fingers still. But her thoughts are with you, the man she stopped talking to, the one she left on read, the one she didn't answer. She checks her phone more than she admit. She replays your conversations in her head. She secretly watches your stories. She observes your life unfolding in silence. She misses you, but she won't say it. And it has nothing to do with you not deserving it. It has everything to do with what society has made her believe, because her pride is her shield, and your silence is her test. This video will break that wall wide open. If you're a man who is tired of chasing women who only respond when you walk away, if you're tired of the confusion of mixed signals, the cold shoulder, and the emotional roller coaster, then this is for you. Stay until the end, and you will never look at her silence the same way again. You have been lied to about love, about women, about what strength looks like in a man. Most men are taught to be emotionally available, expressive, and vulnerable until they become disposable. You are told to pursue her, that effort proves love. But effort without respect is weakness, and chasing a woman who pulls away is not love, it's insecurity. You are not here to accommodate her emotions. You are here to reclaim your position as a man, with calmness, with purpose, with self-respect so deep that no silence can break you. I am going to explain to you exactly why she becomes cold, distant, and indifferent, and more importantly, what you, as a masculine, confident man, must do. Every thought I share in this video is a weapon for your mind. If you apply this, you will never be emotionally manipulated again. That is my promise. Why she pulls away. When a woman starts to pull away, when her messages slow down, her tone gets colder, or she suddenly becomes emotionally unavailable, your instinct might tell you that she has lost interest, that she is talking to someone else, that you did something wrong. But the truth, which most men never learn, is far more complex and far more powerful. It's not always that she doesn't care. It's often the opposite. She cares more than she can handle, and it scares her. Because to care for someone is a risk, and to risk as a woman means to give emotional power to a man, something society tells her never to do. This fear turns into silence, and that silence turns into confusion for you. She goes silent not because you're not on her mind, but because you are constantly on her mind. She replays your last conversation, studies your last response, overanalyzes the tone, wondering if she said too much or not enough. But she won't text first, not because she has moved on, but because her pride, the one thing she believes protects her heart, is louder than her desire. She thinks, if he cared, he would text. But at the same time, she is dying to hear from you. It's a battlefield, a tug-of-war in her soul. Emotion on one side, ego on the other, both pulling, neither giving in. You have to look behind the mask. Women are emotional, yes, but they are also brilliantly tactical with those emotions. She might be sitting alone in bed at night, holding her phone, your name glowing in her chat list. Her thumb might hover over your name, open the conversation, start typing, hey, then stop, delete, I miss you, stop, delete, nothing is sent. She throws her phone aside, frustrated, not with you, but with herself, with the fact that she wants to be the one to break first, that she wants to text but feels that if she does, she loses, that she hands over power, and in her mind, no matter how much she likes you, that would be a fatal move. You think she's ignoring you, but really, she is testing herself. She is trying to see if she can win a game she has never admitted she is playing. So what does she do instead? She posts that selfie, she shares that quote about independence. She goes out with her friends and makes sure it's visible. Everything she posts, she hopes you will see. She wants to look like she is doing great, like she is glowing without you, like she is unaffected. But behind that mask of indifference is a woman who hopes you are affected, who hopes you are watching, who hopes you feel her absence as much as she feels yours. And this is what you, as a man, must understand. This is not a weakness, it is firmware. It is programming. It is centuries of conditioning passed down to her that says, a woman who chases a man will be abandoned. A woman who shows too much will be taken for granted. So even if her heart tells her to text, her fear of seeming desperate will silence her. Not because she doesn't value you, but because she doesn't want to lose the image of strength she has built. So she will do everything to appear unfazed, but the more effort she puts into looking unfazed, the more phased she actually is. And this is the part most men miss. You try to decode her actions. Was that post about you? Is she mad? Has she moved on? But what you should really be doing is nothing. Not reacting, not chasing, not decoding, only observing. Because your silence does more to change the power dynamic than any paragraph you could ever send. The more you resist the urge to fix it, the more your presence in her mind intensifies. She doesn't miss you when you're chasing her. She misses you when you disappear. She doesn't think about you when you're trying to get her attention. She thinks about you when you go silent and still look like you're thriving. Understand this. She would rather lie to herself than ever tell you the truth. She might tell her friend she doesn't care. She might convince herself she has moved on. But every view of your profile, every glance at your name in her inbox, every quiet moment where she picks up her phone and puts it back down without texting, you is the truth. And the deeper your impact, the more she pulls away. Not because you mean less, but because you mean more. You have become someone whose presence affects her ego, whose silence makes her question herself. So when she pulls away, don't chase, don't panic, don't try to interpret every little thing. Stand firm, because often the coldest woman is the one fighting the hardest not to care. And every man who understands this knows one thing: the more you respect yourself in these quiet moments, the more respect you will command from her in the long run. Because while her emotions speak in silence, your masculinity speaks in composure. The battle between ego and emotion, what's really happening inside her? There is a war going on inside of her, not a war of logic and reason, but of emotion and pride. And as a man, you are not invited to this battlefield. You are simply the catalyst for it. You see her silence, her distance, her cold messages, and you think she is moving on. You feel unwanted, you feel abandoned, but inside of her there is chaos. There is a power struggle between her emotional truth and her social conditioning. Her emotion, raw, honest, painful, wants to reach out, to text you, to reconnect, to say, "I miss you, I hate this silence, I wish we could talk." But her ego, calculating, defensive, stubborn, blocks everything. The ego becomes the gatekeeper of her behavior. Her ego doesn't just talk, it commands. It tells her that if she texts you first, she has lost. That if she admits she misses you, she is weak. That if she shows vulnerability, you will take her for granted. She is not thinking about how much you mean to her. She is thinking about how much control she will lose if she shows it. Her ego convinces her that whoever breaks the silence first is emotionally weaker, and in her mind, weakness equals risk. So she locks her feelings away, even if they are screaming to be let out. And the tragedy is, the more she cares about you, the harder her ego fights back. Because to her, showing care is dangerous. It's dangerous because it gives you power. This is why she tests your silence with her own. Every day you don't text, she is watching. Every moment you don't give in, she is calculating, and the longer it goes on, the more she doubts herself. But she won't show it. She won't post that she misses you. She won't admit her internal panic. Instead, she will double down on her pride. She will project confidence, aloofness, and even flirtation with others, just to provoke a chase from you. Not because she has forgotten you, but because she is terrified that now, maybe, the power is truly with you, that your silence isn't a bluff, that you've stopped waiting, that you've started moving on. And here is the most important thing every man must understand. When you chase her during this struggle, you are not winning her heart, you are feeding her ego. You are validating her strategy, you are affirming her control. And the more you chase, the more she pulls away, not because she is heartless, but because your pursuit gives her a sense of emotional superiority. She is winning the game. But if you don't chase, if you remain calm, confident, and contained, her emotional wall begins to crack. Not because you have manipulated her, but because you have not allowed her to manipulate you. Your emotional discipline becomes a mirror, reflecting her own turmoil back at her. She begins to question herself. Why isn't he chasing me? Has he moved on? Did I miscalculate? And that uncertainty becomes your greatest advantage. When her ego is no longer getting the fuel it needs, your attention, your desperation, your chase, it begins to starve. And that's when her emotions start to gain power. They whisper louder. They say, what if I made a mistake? What if he's the one slipping away? What if I pushed too hard? And now she is fighting a different war, one where you are no longer the one who needs answers, one where she starts needing closure. She needs to know if you still care. She needs to feel like she hasn't ruined everything. And that's when you get that text out of the blue. Hey, how are you? Did you see that thing I posted? These are not random messages. They are white flags from a war where her ego is no longer strong enough to fight. But this doesn't happen if you react emotionally, if you lash out, if you send her long paragraphs asking why she is acting differently. You must let her lose the internal battle on her own. You must not become a casualty of her internal chaos. You must become an observer, not passive but unwavering, not indifferent but unbothered. This is what true stoicism in relationships looks like. It is not pretending not to care. It is caring so deeply about your own dignity that you will never let someone else's emotional instability dictate your behavior. And you must know this. Women deeply respect men they cannot emotionally control. You might think your silence will make her forget you, but in reality, your silence makes her feel you, because silence is louder than words when she is used to attention, when she is used to the chase, when she is used to men breaking before she does. Your calmness and focus disrupt everything she thought was supposed to happen. It forces her to sit with the consequences of her own silence. And this time, she becomes the one who has to act, not because you manipulated her, but because you respected yourself more than you craved her attention. The battlefield is real, and most men never see it. They get caught in it. They become emotional pawns in a game they never knew existed. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you know that behind every "I don't care" is a woman who desperately does. Society conditions her to wait, while you were taught to chase and lose. The lie was planted early, long before she ever had feelings, long before you sent your first good morning text. She was taught that if a man wants her, he will pursue, and if he stops pursuing, it means he never really cared. This script was handed to her by movies, TV shows, pop songs, her friends, her aunts, and every girl power meme that applauded her for being cold, but never for being honest. So now, she lives with a belief system that tells her the quieter she is, the more power she has, that if she waits long enough, the right man will prove himself by chasing, even if she gives him nothing but distance in return. But here's what she was never taught, that when a man chases a woman who is consistently pulling away, he loses his respect, that his constant effort, when met with no appreciation or effort in return, starts to look like desperation. And desperation, in a woman's eyes, is unattractive, not because she is heartless, not because she doesn't want love, but because something deep in her psychology equates effort without boundaries to weakness. And weakness in a man triggers something she can't even explain, repulsion, not because she is cruel, but because she senses instability. She senses that you need her more than you need your own dignity. You were taught to prove yourself, to make her feel special, to fix things, to buy flowers when she's distant, to text more when she texts less, to explain yourself to win her back. You thought this made you romantic. In her eyes, it made you replaceable. And I know that hurts, but you have to hear it, because the world gave you a blueprint for love that only works when both parties are mature. But in this modern dating battlefield where attention is currency and validation is traded, like poker chips, your old-fashioned effort is a losing hand. She doesn't want more effort. She wants your absence to matter. She wants to feel what it's like to be without you, to question her position, to second-guess her silence. She wants to experience your value not through your presence, but through your discipline to withhold it when it is not earned. When you chase a woman who is being intentionally distant, you are sending a message that reads, "My self-respect is negotiable." And once that thought enters her mind, it is almost impossible to reverse. She will always know that if she pulls away, you will move closer. That if she withholds affection, you will try harder. That if she ignores you, you will do whatever it takes to fix it. And that creates a dynamic that strips you of all your power, not just in the relationship, but in your identity as a man. You are not here to audition for love. You are not here to convince someone of your worth through repetition. A man who understands his worth will never chase validation, because real men don't run after what doesn't respect them. They walk away quietly and they don't look back. And the deeper truth is this: a woman worthy of your love will never make you chase her through indifference. She will show effort, she will text, she will match your energy with her own. And if she doesn't, then every message you send after her silence is not an act of love. It is an act of self-abandonment. So when she goes silent, and you feel that urge just to check in, to say, "Hey, how are you?" to stay on her radar, understand what is happening, you are being tested. She wants to see how deep your self-respect goes. And the moment you break the silence just to get a reaction, you fail. Not because she hates you, but because she now sees you as someone she can emotionally control. And women never fall in love with men they can control. But if you hold your ground, if you stay calm, while she waits for you to react, you flip the entire game. You break the cycle. You present a rare breed of man, one who doesn't dance for attention, one who doesn't react to every emotional withdrawal, one who values peace over chaos. And when she realizes you aren't playing the role she expected you to play, that's when she starts to think differently. That's when curiosity turns into intrigue. That's when silence turns into guilt. And often, it is at that moment that she comes back. If this video has awakened you, even for a moment, support this channel. Not just for me, but for every man who needs to hear this. For your brother, for your younger self, for the next man, who is about to break himself just to be seen by someone who no longer sees him. Share this comment stoic below. Join the brotherhood of men who don't chase. They lead, they grow, they rise. This is how we ensure the truth reaches those who need it most. Subscribe, because every week I am dropping tools, strategies, and wisdom to help you become unbreakable in love, in life, in your mind. You want clarity? Start here and never look back.